Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the world of Bars and Barbells. I'm Phil with my co-host, the lovely and beautiful Samantha.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel.
Not just my co-host. Some of you guys have been saying in these videos, like, your co-host? Isn't she more than that to you? Yes, Samantha and I are together as partners. We're not married, for those of you that want to know, but we've been together a really long time.
Yes. I mean, like, what are you supposed to say? Like, introducing my girlfriend.
Exactly.
That's kind of random.
I think people were, like, thinking that we were married. And so they're like, why are you not calling her your wife?
True.
It's like, relax.
Well,
Okay?
still
I've
though,
got it covered. I know how to take care of my relationship, all right?
I also just feel like still at the weird intro, like, me and my wife in our reaction video. Like, it's just, I don't know, weird.
Anyways, it's all in good fun. I'm just playing with you guys. I
Yeah.
don't actually care. I just noticed some of the comments, and in this introduction, I was just thinking about that. So just off the cuff here. Didn't premeditate that one at all. Anyways, we're here at Bruce Lee. We've got some sports on the channel.
Yes. Lots of sports.
Yeah. And so I was trying to come up with some different kinds of, videos to do because we've gone through some of the major, epic sports people like Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and,
Ronaldo,
the UFC and Ronaldo and Messi and all that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, who else can we do? I'm like, mixed martial arts, UFC. Oh, Bruce Lee. We haven't done anything from Bruce Lee. So he was really popular, obviously, for a certain time. And then his legend lived on because he died so young. He died at age 32.
So sad.
Yeah. And there's a lot of theories that, that have gone on with his death because he was clearly in just ridiculous shape.
Yeah.
Could do extraordinary things and died at 32 from like just a random health issue.
Yeah.
So that was, unexpected. And I think people may look at it as foul play being involved, but that's just speculation. It's nothing that's, come out in light of that. But he was obviously a movie star. Enter the Dragon, I believe, is one of them that I recall watching as a kid that I watched multiple times.
Yeah, I was never really into that kind of stuff back then.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. And I also, I was beginning to take Jeet Kune Do, actually, just before the pandemic hit. And then that all kind of fell by the wayside, and I haven't got into it since. But I was kind of looking into it, I was researching it, how, he kind of put together multiple elements of mixed martial arts and made it a unique style. A lot of people will dispute whether it's a style that works or not, but I thought it was cool reading about it. And the thing I like about Bruce Lee as well, I mean, I guess I should shut up and find out what the movie says or what this video says, but I like that he was philosophical as well. He didn't, he was kind of, a little more flashy of an individual, but he was also very deep in thought when he discussed things. So I appreciated that from the mixed martial arts standpoint, because that's the aura of it, right? Is that it's supposed to be inward looking in some sense and grounding. So I like that aspect. Anyways, I've rambled quite a bit. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you know about Bruce Lee, if anything at all?
There isn't much to share. So I know his name. Obviously, he's, very well known. So I've heard his name over the years, and I did know that he was in movies. I've just never seen them myself. And that's as much as I know about him, pretty much. All
right. And his son, I think his son died on a movie set as well.
Really?
Yeah, really young, too. He got shot, I believe.
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
I'm going to shut up. Maybe they'll talk about some of this stuff in the video, and I want to ruin it for you. So if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Sorry. I'm in my own world today. It was all because of that intro. Let's go.
I mean, it might sound too philosophical, but it's acting or acting unacting.
You've lost me.
I have.
Bruce Lee was a legend in every sense of the word. This martial artist touched the hearts and minds of many around the world, either through his outlandish fight scenes or the serenity of his philosophical musings. By the time that Bruce died in 1973, he had already built a time-defying legacy, despite being just 32 years old. Many of us weren't even alive back then, but we sure do remember the famous martial artist and movie star. Although Bruce had many talents and skills, his martial art chops were definitely his top selling point. This man was so awesome, in fact, that many believe that he could have been superhuman. And in this video, we'll explore some evidence that lends credibility to those claims. Join us as we have a look at 10 pieces of evidence that prove that Bruce Lee was superhuman. Number 10,
Superhuman.
the Dragon Flag. Bruce Lee's ascent to the top of the martial arts field was definitely not by accident. He knew from a young age that he was destined to be a great fighter, and he quite literally spent every waking moment of his life honing his skills so that he could be the best that he could be. Now, if you have any experience with fighting, you know that you have to be in peak physical condition. Otherwise, there's a good chance that you'll be getting knocked on your keister when you take the stage. Bruce, however, was so dedicated to his fighting art that it pretty much bordered on obsessive. According to Bruce's wife, he would spend pretty much every waking moment and free time that he had training. That's how disciplined and focused that he was. Bruce was especially focused on his core, the part of the body that includes the torso and stomach. He believed that this part of the body was involved in basically every form of movement and fighting technique, so he spent even more time developing that. But being the man who was destined for such great things, Bruce was not about to do the regular training drills. Instead, he invented his own workout regimen called Dragon Flag. In Dragon Flag, Bruce would lay flat on a bench and then would lift up his entire body from the bench with nothing but his shoulders touching the surface. From there, he'd hold that position for minutes, raising and lowering his entire body at will, which is probably something I'm going to skip the next time that I hit the gym. Today, Dragon Flag is a staple of many martial arts training programs and exercise sessions, although I don't really think that there's anyone who could do it as impressively as Bruce Lee. Number 9,
Jeez.
Bruce caught rice grains with
Are you going to be doing the Dragon Flag in your next workout?
Maybe I'll give it a try, guys, and I'll let you know how it goes.
It's definitely difficult, clearly, but I think the big key is he could probably do it for a really, really long time.
Yeah. Like I can hold it for maybe like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, there's, probably pretty good people that are in pretty good shape that can do it, but it's, like I said, how well you do it, the form, the technique.
How long.
And clearly, you practice it, and that's what they were referring to.
chopsticks. While physical fitness is undying, anyone who could do it as impressively as Bruce Lee. Number 9, Bruce caught rice grains with chopsticks. While physical fitness is undoubtedly a great way for any fighter to train, it's also important that they work on several of their instincts, and amongst those instincts, hardly does any matter more than the reflexes. The ability to think fast and react to changes around you is going to help anyone, especially a fighter who's in a bit of a tight spot while in combat. Bruce knew this well, and being the obsessed and focused fighter he was, he worked tirelessly to hone his reflexes so that they could help him while fighting. But while most people would use regular methods to train their reflexes, I think that we all know that Bruce was not one for the regular stuff. According to legend, he would actually throw grains of rice into the air and then literally catch them in midair with nothing but chopsticks. Now, if you've seen the 1984 classic Karate Kid, you'll probably remember the point where Mr. Miyagi trains Daniel to catch a fly with a pair of chopsticks, and I'm pretty sure the movie got its inspiration from the legendary Bruce Lee himself. It was reported that Bruce was a master of this drill and would catch the rice almost every time that he threw it into the air. But there's no video evidence of that, but considering how dedicated he was, I wouldn't doubt that it actually happened one little bit. Number 8, Bruce was unusually strong. Whenever you think of the word superhuman, it's easy to see why one of the first things that comes to your mind is strength. After all, superheroes can pull off amazing feats of strength like they're nothing at all. But if Bruce should be described as being superhuman, it's kind of logical that he'd be much stronger than any average person. And in many ways he was. And merely looking at Bruce, you may easily doubt the fact that he could have superhuman strength. After all, he wasn't necessarily the most muscular or even toned person out there, and with his relatively small stature, it's pretty tempting to overlook his strength. But you'd be wrong. By simply looking at some of his training videos, you could get the sense that Bruce was incredibly strong. Just take a look at him working with punching bags. Most people who use large punching bags to practice their kicks and punches would do so in a slow and controlled manner, even those with abs and 200 packs. Bruce, on the other hand, pretty much tore through these bags like they were Swiss cheese. Bruce reportedly even had challenges using regular punching bags, because he'd simply punch through them and tear them down. So per usual, he needed to get a new challenge. Now, keep in mind that regular punching bags weigh about 50 kilograms, but the bags that Bruce would use weighed north of 135 kilograms, which is almost 3 times the weight of a regular punching bag.
Damn.
And I'm pretty sure that Bruce grew to rip through those bad boys and tear them to shreds as well.
Wow.
So it
never
is
heard
safe
that
to say, this isn't a man that you'd like to get a punch or kick from on your lovely body. Number 7, an irregular approach to
This commentary is slightly extra.
I know he's killing me, like, rip through it like Swiss cheese on your lovely body.
Your lovely body. Anyway, so we're 5 minutes in now, and you're getting a little bit of an introduction into Bruce Lee. Any thoughts that you want to let us know about?
Well, he looks like he's a savage.
A savage? In what way is he savage?
Like, he's
You mean a
obviously
beast?
clearly very strong, and his training was very regimented. I mean, the grains of rice thing, like, I'm not going to lie, I don't know if I believe it because I didn't see it, but...
Well, that's the other thing that I was going to say is that there's a lot of folklore, we'll say, with Bruce Lee because he, again, died so young that sometimes people think that stories are made up about him because, it's like he could do all this stuff and it's this mystical thing because he was so legit and he was a great martial artist and everything, but, maybe have overemphasized some of his legend because
stories.
he passed away early on.
Well, also, and he's from an era where, like, people weren't walking around with smartphones videotaping everything every
Exactly.
5 seconds. So, like, there's not going to really be that much evidence.
I think the consensus from most people is, as we're seeing with the video, is that he trained really hard. He took his training very seriously.
Yeah.
And he did have some, great feats that he was doing, but they may have been embellished a bit, such as the one that we just talked about in that. But that's, I mean, who knows? I mean, there may be people that can do that out there. I haven't looked at it. Like, maybe there's people on YouTube that you search that up and people are doing it. And if you practice it, then you can do it. Like his wife or girlfriend, I can't remember what they said, he was dedicating all his time to it. So you can do, as people, when we dedicate ourselves to something, that we can do remarkable things. So if he was dedicated, clearly very athletic, strong, who knows?
Yeah, true.
That's it?
Well, I mean,
That's
like...
all right. It's fine. I didn't know if you wanted to add anything. We can continue. You want to continue?
Yeah, sure.
exercising. Everyone exercises. Some of us do more so than others, but that's a discussion for a different day. Amongst the many exercise routines that are available, push-ups and pull-ups are one of the most popular. Today, you don't even have to be a fighter to learn how to do a push-up or pull-up. After all, both exercises offer the best of both worlds. You don't need any special gear for them, and they're difficult enough to help you work up a sweat and supercharge your body. Thanks to their complexity, we all have a threshold of push-ups and pull-ups that we can all perform. Some of us can go up to 50 push-ups at a go, while few of us can only manage about 10. Yes, I know myself. There's no shame in it. Here's the thing though, Bruce was on an entirely different level. If you have a specific number of push-ups that you're comfortable doing, I guarantee you that Bruce Lee could do double without even breaking a sweat. And if you're still doubting, well, consider this. At some point, Bruce was actually tested to see how many push-ups that he could do, and in true Bruce Lee fashion, he decided to raise the bar by completing the test with one hand while using only 2 fingers, his thumb and index finger. And even at that, he was able to nail up to 200 push-ups. Bruce was able to take things up yet another notch when he offered to complete a different challenge by doing push-ups with only 2 thumbs. And in this position, he still managed to do over 100 of them.
That's wild.
And now for the grand finale. If you were to grade Bruce based on the regular 2-handed push-ups that we all struggle to accomplish, he was reportedly able to do over 1,500 of them in a row without stopping.
That's
The man was a beast on the boards, and somehow you definitely wouldn't want to get into a competition with that at the gym.
What the
Number
heck,
6,
man?
Bruce was too fast to be filmed. Bruce Lee began his early life as a martial artist, and like many of the time, he had spent a great deal of his life honing his skills. So by the time that Hollywood came calling, he had essentially already become one of the most renowned martial artists in the world. But here's the thing though, Bruce almost didn't even make it into the movie business. At the time, movie-making technology was just getting to the peak of its prowess, and there was still a lot of work that needed to be done. Bruce was so fast that directors literally had issues filming him. In 1966, Bruce got one of his biggest breaks on screen with The Green Hornet, a superhero television series that lasted just one season, but Bruce was undoubtedly the breakout star. However, shooting the series was very challenging because the cameras of the time just couldn't capture his moves in real time. Unlike today, when we have cameras that can shoot up to 240 frames per second, most movie cameras in the 60s and 70s struggled even to shoot at 24 frames per second.
Crazy.
This would mean that many of Bruce's fight scenes just couldn't show up correctly on camera. Bruce could throw up to 9 punches and 6 kicks respectively in a single second, and that's surely nothing that could record that much. Producers of The Green Hornet would claim that many of the
How is it even possible? I don't think that's possible.
Like,
9 punches and 6 kicks.
1, 2, 3. Like,
Samantha Lee. Sam Lee. Gonna be in the next Tekken.
I got like
Tekken
3
video
in
game.
a second, and they weren't even full punches. They were like knocks.
Yeah, so I'm saying that I don't think that it's possible to do that many punches and kicks in 1
No.
second. I don't know.
So
And even that
folklore legend.
the 1500 push, like that's wild. Just, I mean, that I guess you could take that as valid because we saw the video that he was doing the push-ups
Yeah.
with. So I guess
I mean, people probably witnessed that.
Well, yeah, that was at his, like, I don't know, some kind of teaching clinic. I think maybe they'll get to it. It's like a super punch. I can't remember the name of the punch that he does, but it's an inch punch basically that he knocks people down with. So anyways, that push-up thing was mind-blowing, and that many punches also mind-blowing. I think you guys will have to elaborate on this in the comments and let us know what you've heard about Bruce Lee's abilities.
It also makes sense that, like, for the cameras at the time, like, they were a lot slower, and I could see how it would be hard to capture if he's fast, but, like, that fast?
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're using 2 hands,
Yeah.
you could do 9 punches for sure.
In 1 second?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, like
I'm not
1
sold.
second. Yeah, I mean, if you're
One
Bruce-
Mississippi.
if you're
you
Bruce-
just did 9 punches and 3 kicks in that one
well, I don't
Mississippi.
know, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know about 9 punches and 6 kicks. I think maybe it's 9 punches or 6 kicks.
Okay, but I said,
Kicks seems like it's harder than because you can only. I feel like you can only use 1 leg.
okay, just in the time of me saying 1 Mississippi, you probably could maybe do 2, like 1 hand each, and
No,
that's it.
dude. I could do definitely more than 2 in 1 second.
Okay, let's test.
No, let's not do a test. I'm not gonna punch you on camera. Literally trying to just
Let's go.
trying to take me to court. That's what she's trying to do. Anyway, so you ready to continue here?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
recordings that they had showed Bruce seemingly standing motionless while all of his enemies fell to the ground. But in reality, the man was just too fast to be captured. Eventually, filmmakers had to ask him to take things down a couple of notches just so that they could follow his actions. Number 5. The 1-inch punch. The field of martial arts is full of a lot of flashy feats. You can see artists breaking concrete slabs like they were made of plastic, or jumping high in the air like they had suspenders attached to their waists. However, I would argue that no martial arts feat is as famous as Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch. As the name would suggest, the 1-inch punch would have Bruce punch a target from just an inch away and pretty much send them flying. The punch has become something of a pop culture legend, even being featured in the classic cult film Kill Bill. Despite standing just an inch away from his target, Bruce's punch could send them flying as far back as 5 meters. Still, the punch was strong enough to essentially incapacitate the victim once it had landed. According to one researcher at Stanford University, Bruce's fists travel a small distance in mere milliseconds in order to deliver the 1-inch punch. However, the jab actually draws power from Bruce's legs. To land the punch, Bruce straightens his legs with a quick and explosive knee extension, and this sudden jerk of his legs increases the speed of his hips, which in turn moves his shoulder forward and allows him to thrust his arm. Bruce's elbow is then extended very quickly as well, driving his fist forward, and finally he flicks his wrist just before impact, further increasing the velocity of the punch. By the time that Bruce lands his 1-inch punch, he's combined the strength of some of the biggest muscles of his body. It's been estimated that the force of the punch is almost equivalent to that of a car crash at about 50 kilometers per hour. And so, it's no wonder that the punch sends his opponents flying in an instant and incapacitates them for minutes. Number 4. Bruce's kicks sent people literally flying. As the determined martial artist that he was, Bruce was also adept at using pretty much anything that he had when the time came to throw down. And although most of the devastation that he would cause was with his hands, Bruce was not exactly a lightweight when it came to using his feet either. According to many sources, one of Bruce's most treasured possessions was his training shield. He would use it to practice his kicks and pretty much took the shield everywhere he went. As the reports would have it, Bruce would invite people to wear the training shield and then he would kick them. The amount of power that he put into the shields varied, but it was noted that Bruce could easily kick people so hard that they went straight up flying into the air.
Oh my gosh.
Number 3, the lightning fast magic trick. Everyone loves a little bit of magic. It stretches the mind and makes us all want to believe in the truly unbelievable. Never one to shy away from an opportunity to amaze, Bruce also dabbled in some magic back in the day. Only that this trick would once again prove just how superhuman that he was. We all know the classic trick where a magician pulls a coin from the back of your hair, but Bruce would take that trick and tweak it just a little bit. In his own version, he'd place a coin in the palm of your hand and then ask you to stretch your hand out with the coin in it. The moment that you notice any slight movement in Bruce's body, your task would be to close your hand quickly so that he didn't take the coin. It might seem simple, but here's the thing. Bruce was so quick that no one was able to stop him from taking the coin from their hand. It's just another testament to how quick the man was. For an added layer of difficulty, he then decided to switch things up, and instead of only trying to take the coin, he would replace the coin that he took with a completely different one, all before you'd even be able to close your hand. Just imagine if Bruce Lee had chosen to be a pickpocket instead of a martial artist. He probably would have made a killing. Number 2, he was unpunchable. Bruce Lee's chops as a martial artist became obvious pretty quickly, but for some reason, quite a lot of people still needed to be convinced. Even though he had become a world-renowned name by the 1960s, Bruce would always be challenged to street fights. Many people in that time just needed some convincing, or perhaps they just loved being hit. Who really knows? While Bruce mostly shrugged off the challenges, there were certain times when he had to actually show exactly how good that he was, and wow, were people convinced. While on the set of Enter the Dragon, Bruce was challenged to a fight, and he obliged. And when he went on to take his opponent apart, dodging every single blow that was thrown at him, he eventually locked his opponent in a submission against a wall. Then, when he was finished, the always magnanimous Bruce Lee still gave a lesson in combat. Kicking someone's butt and teaching them how you did it? Well, that's a swell guy indeed. Number 1, he dislocated someone's shoulder with a slap.
A slap.
So at this point, we've pretty much covered Bruce's insane feats of strength and the fact that his slender frame did not do him any justice. But just in case you still doubt how strong that he was, maybe this will do it for you. Despite the fact that he was obviously stronger than everyone else
creepy.
and needed to get special equipment just to train, there were still times when Bruce had to spar with actual people. I'm not sure why anyone in their right mind would see Bruce Lee and say, hey, that's the guy I want to spar with, but I guess that some people really believed in themselves in the 1960s. Anyways, it's been reported that Bruce Lee once dislocated someone's arm in training. Now keep in mind that the victim couldn't just have been anybody. He must have been a highly trained martial artist himself who probably thought that he had the stones to go one-on-one with the Great One. But still though, Bruce Lee dislocated his entire shoulder. As the reports would go, Bruce was quite confused when he was confronted after the altercation. According to him, he didn't even hit the guy very hard. And what many thought to be a punch was in fact more of a light slap. Once again, I don't know how hard it is to learn, but don't go within hitting distance of Bruce Lee. Considering the many feats that he managed to pull off in his lifetime, it's easy to see why many would remember Bruce Lee as the greatest martial artist who ever lived. But perhaps the reason why he became so good at combat was the fact that he was just not a normal human being. I'm really not sure why many people decided to still get within striking distance of him, but at least they were the living proof that we all need that he was a demigod that walked among us. Which of these feats shocked you the most? Tell me all about it in the comments section down below.
So it was Bruce Lee being a superhuman. Like
That's
I said,
crazy.
they definitely hyped him up a whole lot in that video.
Yes.
And I mean, rightly so. Like we said throughout the video, I mean, he clearly dedicated himself to his craft.
Yeah.
I was hoping we were going to see more of the, philosophical stuff and maybe not the old wives' tales so much.
Yeah.
Maybe some video of him doing some things more like the push-ups.
Yeah.
Because I think there is videos out there of him like using nunchucks, and because that's part of Jeet Kune Do as well, right? Is you learn to use weapons. And he used to be able to train with weapons, and we saw some of those like short clips in there.
Yeah.
Because I think that adds to his capabilities quite a bit as well, right? Not just being able to kick and punch and do strength stuff.
Yeah.
It's being able to use all these different weapons. And I had heard a couple of those stories before, a couple of them I hadn't. So it was cool to watch the video, but like I said, I just wish they had maybe a little bit different selection of material in it.
Yeah, and I mean the final one there with the slap, like, I mean, it's crazy that he's that strong, but like, why was he even slapping somebody? Like, you never see somebody in a mixed martial arts fight slap somebody.
Yeah,
Like,
and also, like, if you're sparring with somebody or you're doing in mixed martial arts with somebody, that's going to potentially happen. Somebody can move the wrong way and they can have
Yeah.
their shoulder dislocate and stuff. So there were certain ones in there I was kind of like, yeah, like, whatever
Yeah.
type thing. But there were really cool ones, like you said, the punches and the push-ups and that. So
yeah, it's definitely cool to learn more about him, though, in general, especially for me, because I don't know much about him, and to see some of those clips in the videos and stuff. 'cause
yeah, and he
I don't-
clearly was very fast. Like
Oh, yeah.
like we were talking about in the movie and them not being able to see him. Like I could see that realistically. Like as we watched more,
Mm-hmm.
like even when they were showing little clips of like that one with the old guy there, where he was kind of moving his hand, like, or when they were saying like taking a coin from somebody, I could see those things,
Yeah.
happening because he probably was so fast. And then learning about him hitting the bags and stuff, I had never heard about that. So it was cool, but like I said, I was hoping like, oh, let's see some Bruce Lee, and
Yeah.
they kind of replayed some of the clips over and over.
Yeah, they
again,
kept
right?
showing that weird shoulder blade thing like 500 times. I was like, ooh.
Maybe we can watch one of his movies at one
Yeah,
point.
that'd be cool.
Maybe we'll do a movie reaction. Hopefully you guys liked it, and you enjoyed getting to know Bruce Lee a little bit more if you hadn't got the full backstory on him up to this point, or maybe you have some other videos you want us to check out related to Bruce Lee or any other mixed martial artists out there, and drop us a comment down low. Let us know what your favorite Bruce Lee movie is.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll check that one out. Other than that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because we got 2 videos every single day. Other than that, what do they got to do?
You have to give us a thumbs up
There you go.
and make sure you come along this journey with us.
That's right. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you then.